Some of rock's biggest legends secretly turned on David Bowie, one of the most iconic artists ever. The truth about this hidden feud is shocking, and it's a story no one saw coming. From jealousy to betrayal, this is about the dark side of rock stardom. Stick around, because you're not going to want to miss this. Let's dive in. David Bowie wasn't just a musician, he was a revolution. From the 1960s to his death in 2016, he reinvented himself over and over, giving us Ziggy Stardust, The Thin White Duke, and albums like Hunky Dory, Low, and Let's Dance. His music blended glam, rock, soul, and electronica with hits like Space Oddity, Heroes, and Life on Mars that still blow our minds. Bowie wasn't just about the music, though. He was a cultural force, challenging norms with his androgynous style, bold fashion, and fearless creativity. He collaborated with everyone, from John Lennon to Iggy Pop, and inspired countless artists. To fans, he was a god, but behind the scenes, some of rock's biggest names were turning against him. Why? The truth is a mix of envy, clashing egos, and a sense that Bowie was playing a different game. Let's set the stage. It's the 1970s, and rock is ruled by giants like Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones, and Pink Floyd. These bands are packing stadiums, living the high life, and defining the sound of a generation. Bowie's rising fast, but he's not like them. While Zeppelin's cranking out bluesy riffs, and the Stones are strutting with raw swagger, Bowie's out there with glitter, sci-fi personas, and theatrical shows. He's not just making music, he's creating art, and that made some rock legends uncomfortable. According to insiders and old interviews, a handful of these icons started to resent Bowie, and their gripes stayed under wraps for years. Now the truth is coming out, and it's a wild ride. So, what turned these rock gods against Bowie? The first big reason was jealousy. Bowie wasn't just successful, he was a chameleon, stealing the spotlight with every new persona. In 1972, the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars made him a superstar. Fans went crazy for his alien rock star character, and critics couldn't stop raving. Meanwhile, some of his peers felt overshadowed. Mick Jagger, for example, was used to being the king of cool, but Bowie's bold style and gender-bending image were stealing headlines. Keith Richards, Jagger's bandmate, reportedly called Bowie a poser in private, annoyed that he was getting so much attention for what they saw as theatrics, not real rock. Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin was another one who didn't get it. Friends say he thought Bowie's music was too out there, lacking the raw grit of Zeppelin's sound. But it wasn't just about the spotlight. Bowie's work ethic and versatility made others look lazy. While bands like the Stones took years between albums, Bowie was churning out classics at a crazy pace. Hunky Dory in 1971, Ziggy Stardust in 1972, Aladdin Sane in 1973, and Diamond Dogs in 1974. He was writing, producing, and reinventing himself while juggling tours and side projects. Some rockers felt like Bowie was showing them up, making their output seem slow by comparison. One story goes that Roger Waters of Pink Floyd was irritated when Bowie's Station to Station got more buzz than Floyd's Wish You Were Here in 1976. Waters never said it publicly, but band insiders claim he saw Bowie as a gimmick who was hogging the praise. Another big issue was Bowie's refusal to play by rock's rules. The 70s rock scene had an unspoken code. You stuck to your sound, kept it authentic, and didn't stray too far from the blues or guitar-driven roots. Bowie didn't care about that. He jumped from glam to soul to krautrock to pop, collaborating with artists like Brian Eno and Nile Rodgers. To some, this was genius. To others, it was selling out. Pete Townsend of The Who reportedly grumbled that Bowie's Young Americans album, with its soul and funk vibes, was trying too hard to be trendy. Townsend was all about raw power chords, and Bowie's slick production felt like a betrayal of rock's grit. Even Lou Reed, who worked with Bowie on Transformer, had mixed feelings. Friends say he was grateful for Bowie's help, but annoyed when Bowie got more credit for the album's success. Then there's the personal side. Bowie was charming, but could be ruthless in pursuit of his vision. He'd collaborate with anyone, but he wasn't afraid to cut ties if it suited him. This rubbed some people the wrong way. Iggy Pop, one of Bowie's closest allies, had a falling out with him in the late 70s over creative control. Iggy felt like Bowie was steering his career too much, and though they later made up, the tension lingered. Similarly, Mark Bolan of T-Rex, who was once tight with Bowie, felt betrayed when Bowie's star rose higher. Bolan reportedly told friends that Bowie stole his glam style and made it bigger, leaving Bolan in the dust. These personal slights added fuel to the resentment, as rockers who once saw Bowie as a friend started to see him as a rival. Bowie's lifestyle didn't help. The 70s were wild for everyone, but Bowie took it to another level. His cocaine addiction during the station-to-station era made him erratic, and some peers thought he was losing it. Stories of Bowie's bizarre behavior, like living on milk and peppers or claiming to see UFOs, spread through the rock world, and not everyone was amused. Jimmy Page of Led Zeppelin, who dabbled in the occult himself, reportedly found Bowie's antics over the top and distanced himself after a weird encounter in the mid-70s. Page never confirmed it, but rumors say he thought Bowie was trying to one-up him in the mystical rock star department. To these straight-talking rockers, Bowie's larger-than-life persona felt like a calculated act, not the real rebellion they prided themselves on. Another sore spot was Bowie's knack for crossing boundaries. He was openly bisexual in the 70s, a bold move at a time when rock was still macho and conservative. While fans loved his honesty, some rockers weren't ready for it. Anonymous quotes from the era suggest that certain band members, not named but heavily implied to be from big acts like Deep Purple or Black Sabbath, made snide comments about Bowie's image, calling it confusing or not rock. Bowie didn't care, he was out to challenge norms, not follow them. But this made him a target for those who wanted rock to stay traditional. What's crazy is how quiet this feud stayed. Unlike public beefs like Lennon versus McCartney or Oasis versus Blur, the rock world's gripes with Bowie were kept behind closed doors. Why? Because Bowie was too big to take down. He wasn't just a star, he was a trendsetter, and even his haters couldn't deny his influence. Plus, Bowie had a way of winning people over. He'd charm critics, collaborate with rivals, and stay above the fray. By the 80s, when Let's Dance made him a global pop icon, most of his old foes had either mellowed or faded, but the resentment was real, and it shaped how Bowie was seen in the industry. So, why does this matter now? The truth about this feud is coming out through old interviews, memoirs, and stories from those who were there. After Bowie's death in 2016, people started talking more openly, and what's clear is that Bowie knew about the shade. He never called anyone out, he was too classy for that, but he felt the cold shoulder. In a rare 1990s interview, he hinted at jealous types who didn't get his vision, and friends say he was hurt by the lack of respect from some peers. Yet Bowie kept pushing, turning that rejection into fuel for his art. That's what made him a legend. He didn't need their approval to change the world. For fans, this story adds a new layer to Bowie's music. When you listen to Rebel Rebel or Ashes to Ashes, you're hearing someone who fought to be himself, even when the rock elite turned their backs. It's a reminder that genius often comes with a price, and Bowie paid it. His ability to rise above the hate is why his legacy endures, while some of his critics are now footnotes. What do you think? Were you shocked to learn rock legends turn on Bowie? Who do you think was the most jealous? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get the conversation going. If you're loving these music history deep dives, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to